It's 6:30. You're live here on GHOne TV. It's now time for News Tonight with me, Natalie. A look at our top stories. Coming up this evening, Ghana Journalists Association requests Electoral Commission to open up access to media houses at the various collation centres following earlier directives to restrict media access. Also ahead, on Election Hub, People National Convention declares support for opposition NDC. Also ahead, parliamentary stalemate lingers as the Speaker Backbin declines moves to recall the House, insisting he will only do so after December polls. Meanwhile, former President Mahama backs NDC caucus in Parliament's decision to stay out of the House until general elections are over. WIEC dismisses claim of relocating headquarters due to Ghana's debt owed the council. We will get to the root of this issue. And on the international front, US President Joe Biden to push with regional powers for ceasefire as Israel war in Gaza bites harder. We bring you the details of these stories and much more news right here on News Tonight Tuesday. We get started this evening with Election Hub. We're just 10 days, the 2024 general elections. Let's settle for the details now. You can watch this bulletin live all across the world on Facebook as well as X at GHOne TV. With barely 10 days to the polls, the People National Convention, PNC, has publicly declared its support for the opposition National Democratic Congress, NDC. Addressing the media in Accra today, the national chairman for PNC, David Apesera, charged its supporters to across the country to rally behind the NDC for victory in the upcoming presidential and parliamentary elections. The alliance comes after the High Court in Accra dismissed the application by the flag bearer Bernard Mona challenging the disqualification from contesting in the 2024 presidential election by the Electoral Commission. Well, let's now engage with National Chairman of the PNC, Samson Asaki Awingobit, for more on this and what accounted to this making this decision. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for joining us here on News Tonight. Now, first of all, can you provide some more detail as to what informed this move by the PNC to support the NDC ahead of the elections?
Thank you very much. Let me say, I think in your intro, you said it is David Apesera. I am not David Apesera. David Apesera was the former presidential candidate for the 2020 general election. I am Samson Asaki Awingobit is the national chairman, and Samson Asaki Awingobit is the one who chaired today's next meeting and made a press conference, and not David Apesera. I want to make that correction.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so to your question now, what is your question again?
So I'm asking what exactly accounted for this decision being made by the PNC to support the NDC ahead of the election?
Well, in relation to the press conference today, in our next meeting, at our next meeting today, I've made it clearly that the PNC presidential candidate, we filed for our presidential candidate in the 2024 election, and we were disqualified somewhere around September. We went to the High Court and we lost our case. we proceeded to the Supreme Court for review of the case, and we lost it as well. 9 days regional election. The PNC political party is a democratic party. We cannot sit down and to be neutral or pretend to say that all is well for Ghana, and or to say that PNC, because we do not have our president candidate was disqualified, we will not participate in the general election. No. And so, as a responsible political party, we have held in our party, we have party structure. The second highest decision-making body is the National Executive Committee, which last week Wednesday, our functional executive committee met and invited the NEC to discuss what is the position of the party. And today, after deliberations, the party have thrown its weight behind the National Democratic Congress Party and their presidential candidate, former President, His Excellency GHOne for the 2024 general elections, so far as the 2024 general elections is concerned. And so today, collectively, overwhelmingly, majority, the PNC has declared our support for the presidential candidate. We also appeal to the rank and file of our party that the declaration is for the presidential candidate, but we also file parliamentary candidates numbering about 25, 26 or so. We declare that wherever the PNC parliamentary candidates are, all PNC members are interested to vote, come to December for our parliamentary candidate, and vote for presidential candidate for to the NDC presidential candidate, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. We also appeal to people and the NDC that wherever PNC parliamentary candidates are, as much as the PNC would vote for their presidential candidate, they should also do the same thing to endorse our members of parliament. And when John Mahama form government, and if some members form majority, the PNC members of parliament, they will definitely support them so that it's possible to go through. We've also appealed to the rank and file of our party that today's declaration, wherever the constituency you find ourselves, and the PNC does not have any parliamentary candidate on 7th December, vote for the NDC parliamentary candidate and vote for
Mr. Awingo, but briefly, how about those who might be hesitant to support the NDC? Are there any that have raised some concerns within the PNC, and how do you plan on dealing with that?
The PNC is a democratic party. We believe in the law abiding. We respect our constitution. We respect the 1992 constitution. However, every political party has a constitution guiding the activities and the operations of the party. What we have done today is according to our party constitution. That's why we did not take a lot of decision by national executive, but we will have to consult, bring our regional chairman, regional secretaries, founding members, members of former parliamentary members, former ministers of state, and then the national executive, and general regional secretaries, regional chairman, take that in unanimous decision of overwhelming support. Next decision is to be respected. We may disagree with NEC, but as it happens in NDC and MPP. I remember in 2016, the NEC of MPP disqualified, suspended its national chairman, its general secretary, and some national officials that were elected in their Congress. And so it's because NEC is very powerful. And so when NEC takes a decision, you even disagree, you cannot go to the public and say that I disagree with NEC. And the good news is that in today's National Executive Committee meeting, we did not see, in the media, your media people were there, the media houses were there, we did not see any party member, any chairman, any secretary saying that I would against or disagree. And that's why I tell you, overwhelmingly, we endorse the National Democratic Presidential candidate. And for a reason.
Now briefly.
Ideologies, PNC ideologies is similar to NDC. PNC believes that we are opposition political party. We get many Ghanaians who are reaching out to us that they are looking for jobs. And we look at the campaigns, we look at the messaging, we look at the manifestos, and we strongly believe that Ghanaians, and we also read the mood of Ghanaians, and we think that at this point in time, at this juncture, Ghanaians will really want change, and that change will be the NDC and their presidential candidates for the 2024 general election. And so we entreat Ghanaians who also believe in PNC ideology that come December 7th,
to support
if you were supposed to cast your vote to the PNC, and by virtue of our disqualification, we entreat you to cast your vote massively, endorsing the NDC and endorsing the NDC parliamentary candidate where PNC did not find our parliamentary candidate. But wherever you find yourself, and PNC has a parliamentary candidate, vote for Mama and vote for PNC parliamentary candidate.
Now, in less than a minute, ahead of our rounding up, with that being said, what do you foresee, what role do you foresee the PNC potentially having in an NDC-led administration in the event that that's the direction in which is to go after December 7? Do you hope to have any involvement in the administration in the event?
Of course, I can told you the NDC ideologies are similar with the PNC, the NDC principles and the NDC manifesto convince the PNC, and we would like to associate ourselves with them. That's why we are supported, we are putting our weight behind the presidential candidate, and we are teaching our members that wherever they find themselves, and that we do not have a parliamentary candidate, they should vote for Jomama and vote for the Jomama parliamentary candidate. Wherever we have a parliamentary candidate, we say that they should vote for our parliamentary candidate, and NDC, we also approve the NDC, and Ghanaians who believe in the PSC parliamentary candidate should also vote for the parliamentary candidate where we have a parliamentary candidate. And so if the Renama or the NDC win the general election, which we do know, and we hope, and we are very optimistic that the NDC presidential candidate will win the elections, and for that matter, if the NDC wins finish, the PNC would like to work with the NDC, and we are prepared to work with the NDC if the form of government. Yes.
Thank you for speaking with us this evening. National Chairman of the PNC, Samson Asaki Awengobit, there, shedding more light on the PNC support of the NDC moving into the 2024 general elections. You're watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV. Now, next we bring you insights, still with a focus on election-related issues. On Insights this evening, the Ghana Journalists Association has called on the Electoral Commission, EC, to open up access to media houses at the collation centres during the elections. You may recall that the Commission, in an earlier statement, indicated that only 8 media outlets would be allowed into constituency collation centres, while 12 media outlets would be allowed into regional collation centres. The Electoral Commission has, however, backtracked on this controversial plan to cap the number of media houses permitted to monitor election coalition centres nationwide. Speaking during a training session for journalists ahead of the 2024 general election, Albert Kwabena Jumfor says that access to coalition centres should be unfettered because it is a right to information.
On this matter. And then, like I said, understandably, mechanism can be introduced to make sure journalists don't interrupt the work of the EC officials. But access should be granted, full access. Should make sure that the mechanisms are put in place so that journalists or the crowd they are trying to prevent, the kind of crowd they are trying to prevent, and that's what they are trying to prevent at the collation centers will be avoided. The mechanism must be put in place, but access must be given to us.
Now, the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufu Dampare, has unveiled a reward system aimed at enhancing security for the upcoming December 7 elections. With incentives ranging from 1,000 to 20,000 cedis, the initiative encourages the public to provide voluntary information about electoral breaches. This proactive measure is designed to help security forces address potential issues swiftly and effectively. Dr. Dampare announced this during an address to members of the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, emphasizing the importance of collaboration in safeguarding the integrity of the electoral process.
So this is the informant reward system we are introducing, and the figure associated with it is between the average of 1,000 to 20,000 Ghana cedis. You bring the information, you operationalize it, the results are good, and the weight of the information, we'll put it on some sort of a weighing stuff, and then we'll tell how much within 1,000 to 20,000 that you deserve, and you tell us how you want to get it, and we'll send it across to you. Those who find it difficult to do the one-on-one for the first time, once again also in the history of election management from the security point of view, we have introduced a toll-free number for that purpose, and for the purpose of anybody who wants to share information with us. And that toll-free number is 0800-311-311. And this is where we are going, and this is how we want to let you know that when we say we are over-prepared for the elections, it means we have covered every aspect, and we invite you beyond the information in terms of your analysis and critical thinking that you bring to bear on our work to be part of the point where we will source information from you, both on gratis and also when we have to pay for it, for the sake of ensuring that this country that we love so much continue to be at peace with.
Now, the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Dampare, has further urged presidential candidates and their parties to uphold the current peace surrounding electioneering activities. Addressing the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, Dr. Dampare applauded the commendable conduct displayed during campaigns thus far. He emphasized the need for this peaceful demeanor to continue, not just leading up to the December 7 polls, but well beyond. Dr. Dampare reiterated the importance of preserving Ghana's democratic stability and called on all stakeholders to prioritize unity and tranquility during this critical period.
We are mindful of the fact that some section of the population is apprehensive of military personnel taking part in the election. I want to clarify that the election is primarily being handled by the police service and other security service and the Ministry of Interior. They are the people you'll be seeing at about 40,000 polling stations. You will not see military personnel like me at the polling station.
And let me also re-echo our commendation to all the political actors, especially the political leaders and their members across the country, for how far they have conducted themselves. And all this commendation is to them to let them know that they cannot do anything otherwise for us to take our work back. Because commendation given to you, the only thing you can do is that you cannot bring the standard down. So let's keep at it and let's make ourselves proud. Let's make Ghana proud and let's make Africa proud.
You're watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV, your election hub. We'll bring you more stories on Insight, election-related news shortly. Do stay with us. Welcome back to News Tonight here on GHOne TV. Now, the parliamentary stalemate, which saw the abrupt adjournment of sittings, is still lingering on. This comes after the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Backbin, declined moves for a recall of the House. According to Speaker Backbin, parliamentary activities will remain on hold till after the upcoming December 7 polls. This response comes after the majority caucus appealed for an emergency recall to address pressing government business. In a letter dated November 22, 2024, and signed by Majority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin, the caucus proposed November 28 and 29 as potential dates for the session. Before we bring you excerpts of that memo, let's hear from former President John Dramani Mahama, who has vowed that NDC MPs will not honour a parliamentary recall to undertake government business. The NDC leader made these remarks during a campaign rally in the Elembele constituency in the second day of his tour of the Western region.
Now say almost say majority. What do you to abani who parliamentary resource now who say NDC na majority. Na omachro say yembra parliament embetra say enhwehwe nyomam 12 days to election we see enjoy campaign yembra parliament omode omopa omoko NDC yenko parliament bia yeto abani wie na omuhu omu smoothness level a ehon ye bebie parliament nyenye na yakọ.
Now, however, Speaker Backbin, in a memo to the leader of government business, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, noted that the House will resume sitting after the elections to complete all essential matters before a seamless transition to the 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana. And I'm going to read out a few key sections of this memo put forward by the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Backbin, dated November 26, 2024, and it reads, I write in response to your memo on the above subject, which was received at the office of the Speaker on Friday, 22 November 2024. The memo calls on me to exercise my discretion. It's pursuant to orders 57 subsection 3 and 58 subsection 4 of the standing orders of the House to summon the House to sit for 2 days, that's Thursday, 28th and 29th November 2024. Honourable Leader, as you may be aware, the performance of the functions of Parliament and the duties of members of Parliament extends beyond the plenary sittings of the House. Now, the memo further indicates that the parliamentary calendar acknowledges elections and campaign periods. This season is for the government, for parties and both presidential and parliamentary candidates to present their manifestos to the people. It further reads that, bearing in mind the provisions of Article 296, subsection A and B of the Constitution, the closeness of your proposed dates to the general election, I am of the considered opinion that it would not be in the national interest to interrupt the campaigns of members and parties by a recall to plenary sitting of Parliament. Now, it further goes on to read that it is worth noting that having regards the practice of deliberations of the House, I wonder how these proposed 22 items would be transacted within only 2 days. Now, it rounds up by stating that the House will resume sitting after the elections to complete all essential matters before a seamless transition. Memo put forward by Speaker of Parliament Alban Kingsford Sumana Backbin. Now, the Central Regional Peace Council has cautioned political parties to desist from declaring election results in their favour ahead of the Electoral Commission in December polls. To properly streamline credibility and combat disinformation and misinformation, they have vowed arresting anyone who flouts this directive. Our Central Regional correspondent Yao Jan has more in this report.
The central region of Ghana is more than a swing region, representing the pulse of Ghana's electoral dynamics. To maintain the peace in the region during the polls, Executive Secretary for the regional branch of the National Peace Council, George Amo, urged residents there to disregard election results declared by political parties and media houses, as they may not reflect the verified results from the Electoral Commission.
Nobody reserves the right to declare the elections. some people can project that looking at the figures, looking at the numbers here and there, we suspect this party is likely to come out as the winners or the losers. But you cannot, no party can go ahead and say this party or this person has won the elections. If you do that, you are usurping the authority of the Electoral Commission of the Republic.
On their part, the police service says they will do everything within their power to protect the ballot. Inspector Seth Afo Efa Bruni, a station police officer at GHOne, admonished Ghanaians to allow for the aged, persons with disability, and nursing mothers to jump the queue to vote in line with electoral regulations.
Counting some tomorrow, you see, we better about 9 7 or you're for no number sorry, exactly saying. In Pennyford Monitor Commission, you better. And nobody must have a in separate fee. Other ballot box who say only still nationally say nobody man. They make it so clear when I said what's it?
Director of the Electoral Commission at Trifo-Himang Lower Dentra District, Efia Hilda Efson, expressed readiness of the Commission to manage a credible election in the Central Region.
I have received the ballot papers. We received them from the police headquarters at Cape Coast. But we still store it there. That's why we keep it until election day, then we go for the ballot. So the party agents were there early in the morning around 6. And every district had their ballot, which was sealed in the bag. So they took the numbers on the seal and they wrote it down. Then after we broke the seals and we checked the number of ballot that was given to the districts. And then we flipped some papers to see if all the candidates' pictures were there. We saw that everything was okay. The party also confirmed that everything is in place. Then after we sealed, of which every party agent wrote down the seal number, then we started back at the police station. So everything is fine.
Now, with just 10 days to the 2024 general elections, we remain your election hub, bringing you the most comprehensive news ahead of the 2024 general elections. Stay with us. You're watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV. Let's turn to some education-related news now. The West African Examination Council says there has not been any discussion on a potential move of the council's headquarters from Ghana. This is in response to minorities' release that Ghana's 73 million cedi accumulated debt to WAEC brought up a conversation on the looming relocation to Nigeria. The Public Affairs Unit of WAEC says that this is false. Let's now engage with the former Director General of the Ghana Education Service, GES. That's Charles Aheto Chega. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for joining us here on News Tonight.
Good evening. Good evening to you too.
It's good to have you. Now, first of all, what's your general assessment of this situation, this news that we've received as it stands?
Oh, well, I'm very happy that we've got this counter news from WAEC. We indicate that potential news could be a fake news. So it refreshes me, because if it can be true, to have been the worst situation that this country would have fallen into during this Bawumia Akufo-Addo administration.
That being said, and you say that you received this with a measure of gladness, are you completely convinced that, in fact, it is the case, as WAEC has said, or can there be some truth in these claims being put forward by the minority?
The truth about this situation is that all the constituent members of WAEC pay dues. They pay subscription WAEC. So if the news presents itself as if Ghana has not paid, with my experience, I wouldn't be surprised, because there have been a lot of occasions in which we have been members of international organizations where we have defaulted in terms of payment of our subscriptions, either by administrative inefficiencies or by the fact that we just simply kind of forget it, and then we send that run around with maybe the fact that, okay, we talk about the organization, that is enough. No. So that is the situation. If that is it, then I think it creates a very serious situation for us to be able to quickly take a step backward and ensure that we remain very committed to the organization which we all formed together.
Right. Now, with that being said, as you highlighted, the fact on the ground remains that we have a standing debt of 73 million cedis accumulated to WAEC. If indeed this debt should escalate, what are the implications? What implications are there likely to be, and how much of an impact will it have if WAEC does exit the country?
Yeah, the implication is what WAEC has come out to reject, or not reject, but to create the impression that it's false. If you do not pay your subscription to your organization, you will definitely be blacklisted as a member, and you will not be considered as a very, very faithful part of that organization. So, as the story presented itself, if it was on the basis of the fact that we were not paying our subscription, then they are right in just literally ostracizing us from the organization and taking the headquarters to Nigeria, which for me is a very, very painful situation, even though I know that Nigeria would really love to have their WAEC headquarters inside Nigeria, precisely in Lagos.
Now, how much of an impact would you say that this is likely to have on our education in general in Ghana?
Well, generally, we have been flip-flopping in terms of our relationship with WAEC. The Minister of Education has not been very literally faithful with us in terms of the release of information as to our relationship with WAEC. We have taken for granted the fact that the headquarters is in Ghana and they are doing things to the contrary in terms of the council's commitment. So for me, if that remains what it is, then it's a really blot on our reputation as a leading African country who is a pace setter in a lot of the things, and especially even in the formation of WAEC, for which reason we even have the headquarters here. And to say that we are going to lose it because of negligence and neglect from officialdom and all of the things will be a really, really sad and sorry situation for us.
Very well, thank you for sharing your thoughts and insights on this issue. Charles Aheto Chega, former Director General of the Ghana Education Service. You're watching News Tonight. Stay with us. We've got business news next. Business news this evening. Here is a plus for local industries as Delta Paper Mill Limited, producers of Flora tissues, has launched the Flora Kids baby diapers. The state-of-the-art factory is designed to produce high-quality diapers alongside setting new standards in hygiene and comfort.
Crafted with soft, breathable materials and advanced technology, the Flora Kids baby diapers promises to protect delicate baby skin while providing all-day dryness for toddlers. Speaking during the launch, the executive director for Delta Paper Mill highlighted the company's commitment to innovation and customer satisfaction.
We mentioned two key goals for Flora Kids baby diapers. The first one was the quality, the second one was the innovation. As of the quality, as I mentioned earlier, we source our raw material from the best suppliers in the world with the finest, the highest quality of raw material in the world to make sure that every single diaper that comes out from Flora Kids factory matches and reach our expectations in terms of quality that we want to give to our kids. Secondly, innovations. We have many innovations. I've mentioned the artificial intelligence software that scans every single diaper coming out of the machine to make sure that is 100% compliant with the level of quality and safety that we expect. And always we keep in mind that we don't want to do anything if it is not affordable for the families. And if you go to the market and you check the prices, you find out that Flora stands in general among the prices of the products available in the market, and even on the lower side of the prices. We try to be as competitive as possible.
Marketing director of the company, Barbara Inkum, also highlighted how the new diapers reflect the company's commitment to family well-being.
We know the kids love us because they use Flora tissues most, the pocket one, the DH. And so we thought of them. What else can we do for these children so that they'll continue to be comfortable and live a hygienic life? So we decided to come to them with diapers. And when we go on the tour, you will see that the diapers we are going to give to our children, because of our children.
Guests, including health workers from various hospitals, were treated to an exclusive tour of the factory to observe its cutting-edge production processes. The facility boasts advanced machinery and stringent quality control measures, ensuring the diapers meet both local and international standards. Some of the health workers expressed their satisfaction.
It looks quite different from any other, and then I could see it is more quality than the others on the market, yes. So when I go to work, I will recommend it to people so that they purchase it.
We are grateful for bringing this here. It is made in Ghana, so we have to accept it as a made in Ghana product. And we are going to preach it for Flora. See you, Flora.
As Delta Paper Mill continues to innovate and expand its offerings, the launch of their rash-free diapers marks a significant step toward customer satisfaction. Flora Kids baby diapers will be officially launched into the market in December 2024.
In other business news, the Automotive Assemblers Association of Ghana has expressed concerns about the lack of implementation of the ban on overage used vehicles as stipulated in the Automotive Development Policy. The association says this situation is creating unhealthy competition within the industry, undermining efforts to establish Ghana as a hub for brand new vehicles in the sub-region. The revelation was made at the launch of the new VW Amarok in Accra.
The Automotive Assemblers Association of Ghana says out of the approximately 125,000 vehicles imported annually into the country, a mere 12% are brand new. The association attributes this situation to the government's inability to fully implement the ban on overage used vehicles.
We encourage government to move on with the policy implementation. Some part of the policy have been implemented. We still do have some about 2-3 provisions that is not being implemented. But if government is able, these 2 provisions we talk about a used car banned on a certain age, and then of course also the incremental of import taxes on vehicles imported into the country.
The association urges Ghanaians to consider purchasing brand new vehicles, citing their fuel economy, longevity, and climate resilience.
We've done a lot of engineering work behind it. One, talking about the terrain, and then also the robust engine. And because this is an exercise that we have done to see what fits the market. So if you look at a car, it is very high, which is fit for all terrains. And of course, also we have increased the engine capacity, where we have also this car is giving you a 10 speed. That means it's a very robust, that it runs faster, and then also very durable.
The 2019 Ghana Automotive Development Policy is aimed at producing affordable new vehicles in the Ghanaian market and reducing the heavy reliance on used vehicles.
Public transport services in the country is about to be revolutionized as the government has introduced 100 electric buses to be used by the Metro Mass Transit. The new buses, which are expected to reduce transport costs by 40 to 50%, have been unveiled by the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, in Accra.
Earlier this year, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, as part of his campaign promises, pledged to revolutionize the transport sector by introducing electric buses for public use. He urged that such an initiative will help cut down the cost of transportation between 40 and 50% as a means of dealing with the rising cost of crude oil. But even before the elections, the buses have been unveiled to begin operations on pilot buses in Accra. Unveiling the buses, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia outlined how it will help reduce the cost of transportation for Ghanaians.
Between 40 to 50% reduction in the fares from these electric buses. This is what you are going to see. From today, when you board it, you will see that the price is 40 to 50% lower because the operational costs are lower and you are able to pass that on to the consumer.
He disclosed that the introduction of the buses is the beginning of a broader strategy to modernize and decarbonize the transport sector.
It's the beginning of a broader strategy to modernize and decarbonize the transport sector. I envision a future where electric vehicles are the standard, with modern technology playing a key part in it. This vision will require us to be innovative in our approach to problem solving and collaborate to build a seamless transportation system where one tap and go card can be used on all public transport vehicles, including our railway system.
On his part, the Minister of Transport, Kweku Ofori-Esiama, urged individuals who want to venture into the public transport space to join any of the various unions.
But we know, sir, and your public transport mad bus plan go for far. Obi o no ma opeso onya privacy. And the Vice President idea and say he be introduce these electric buses to cover this spectrum. Into Misramo, mo kaka na mo pese mo operate public transport mo se mo join association no. A very difficult say Vice President be to mo aboamo. Into mo go join association. Either GPRTU or GRTC or any public transport system are credible.
The buses will undergo test operations beginning this week and will be deployed to all routes like the Oyibi-Accra route, Accra-Amasamai, and Ashaman-Accra routes.
Well, that's all the business news we've got for you this evening. Sports news is next. Do stay.
And you're welcome on to sports. And in sports today, the GFA Girls for Goals Initiative program designed to promote gender equality through sports has officially been launched in the Volta region at the Keta Business School. The event brought together hundreds of students, community leaders, and key stakeholders, marking a big milestone in advancing empowerment for women or young girls through football. Let's go on to Kotoko now, where the Premier League Giants Kotoko have named club legend Malik Jaber as the new director of technical, replacing James Kwesi Appiah. Jaber, who's a two-time CAF Champions League winner with the club, takes over the role from Appiah, who will remain involved with the club as a member of the interim management committee. This announcement was made on today in a statement released by the Porcupine Warriors. However, Appiah had been in charge of the technical directorship since August of last year, overseeing technical operations and player recruitment. During his tenure, he played a key role in recommending several Sudanese players for the club. Of course, later on, these two players left for the US after absconding from the camp of the team when they were in the US of A. And that's it for sports. That's you, Natalie, for the rest of the bulletin.
Thank you so much, Ben, for the latest sports news. Lots more news is available on our website, starfm.com.gh. I'm Natalie Force. Thank you for watching. It was produced by Eko Boache and directed by Benini. Have a wonderful evening.